You ever watch this? No, I don't think we
There's
watched
no place
it.
to be right now but in it.
But Fry the pig,
If they
Dr. King
is dead.
There's no one in the Black Panther Party who would have spoken to the chairman of the party that way, period. So that's number one. My name is Elaine Brown. I am a former leader of the Black Panther Party in the years 1974 to 1977. I've been asked to take a look at some Hollywood films where the Black Panther Party is depicted and to give my thoughts and review of those films.
Oh, shit.
Shut that blonde man and get your white ass away from that window. Don't you know we in a war here?
Hey man, he's cool. He's cool. He's one of us.
Let me tell you about us.
What the hell? Everybody in America loves Forrest Gump. And so the shame of it is that this one encounter that Forrest Gump has is with this insane cult group of people that doesn't like white people. Well, of course, it was a caricature and it was certainly demeaning, not to count inaccurate. Well, nobody walked around wearing that stuff. Every once in a while, we'd have those rallies in the early days where people would wear, you know, the black leather, and that was our sort of uniform. But nobody would be walking around the office with that clothing on.
The Black Panthers are against the war in Vietnam. Yes, we are against any war where black soldiers are sent to the front line to die for a country that hates them.
The Vietnam War was launched in 1965 by Lyndon Johnson. The party itself started in 1966. We were the only black organization that was actually a part of the anti-war movement. But then in my particular case in 1970, I visited Hanoi and other places and did a radio interview with a figure called Hanoi Hannah. And we urged our black brothers to throw down their weapons and come home.
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party.
So to make light of it, to make a joke out of us, then we become a caricature and a joke. There's nothing you can say about it that's good at all as to what was the Black Panther Party in any depiction of it. And if you were to rank it, which, you know, it's just so typically American Western thinking that everything has to be ranked. But if you were to rank it, I don't think it's on the chart. It would be below 1.
There's no place to be right now but in it.
But Fry the pig,
If they
Dr. King
is dead.
Bobby was very dynamic. Bobby still was the chairman and co-founder of the Black Panther Party. But I can tell you this, there's no one in the Black Panther Party who would have spoken to the chairman of the party that way, period. So that's number one. But I can't imagine anybody, any sister or brother telling the chairman of the Black Panther Party what to do or not do.
I said it would be impossible for me to care any less what you are tired of, and I demand to cross-examine the witness.
And the fact that he would have spoken out in this style, it would have been absolutely true. There's no way you would have told Bobby not to speak up in the courtroom, because that was almost the style of the Black Panther Party, and not for arbitrary reasons. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to not follow their rules and so forth. We were pretty pissed off about it when Bobby was gagged and bound. He was treated so incredibly differently than the others. I thought it wasn't a bad film as a film because it was more in tune with the times.
We just need to make sure that Nixon Black Power doesn't equate Nixon with the Black Panthers.
Have you lost your mind, Matt? Did you read Hoover's last memo on that?
It's my subscription.
Goddamn terrifying. No. I gave him the green light to gut those sons of bitches.
I had forgotten about the butler. I'd written that out of my memory because that was another one of those films I refused to see. Why don't we just put Aunt Jemima back on the pancake box or Uncle Ben back on the rice box, you know?
It's time we take a stand against these injustices that have plagued our community. They take one of ours, we taking 2 of theirs.
If they kill one of us, we kill 2 of them. I mean, this kind of simple-minded rhetoric. This is not something anybody would have ever said. Why would we never have said it? Because it didn't make any sense. That didn't mean we wouldn't defend ourselves. But nobody's going out and saying, well, we're going to kill 2 of them for every one they kill and all this kind of stuff. And we're not going to allow the police to come to our communities and shoot people. We will move on them and we will do that. But that wasn't the essential thing.
This boy, we ain't seen this boy. We've seen this boy for 7 years now. Everybody just sit down.
Sorry, Mr. Butler. I didn't mean to make fun of your hero.
Everything you are and everything you have
Now, this wouldn't have happened in any.
Okay, this is officially my favorite fucking Business Insider video I've ever watched. This is literally the first fucking time where I've ever watched an insider video, like a Business Insider video.
Put a painting of you in the gallery with
And
my
it's
college.
fucking awesome.
Don't want to put it up without your permission.
She's so cool, dude. Literally, she's like, this is one of those movies that I refuse to fucking watch. It's really good.
Anybody's universe. Period. Period. You hear me? The idea that this woman, Oprah, can play a role where she slaps a member of the Black Panther Party gives Hollywood and white people such comfort, knowing this isn't the way black people are. We don't like them either. Not even now, we don't like them. We don't even like what they stood for. They were wrong. They were terrorists. They were killers. This man was a good, solid brother who took care of his family and didn't bother anybody. And he should have been respected by his disrespectful son who joins the Black Panther Party. It's just so shameful to try to show and to embrace the idea of the good black versus the bad black. And in this case, the bad black.
This is
What's
so
the
good.
worst? Oh, Black Panthers. So the point is there's so many inaccuracies in this concept, not to count that the boy of that man was never in the Black Panther Party. But the main purpose of that stupid film was to elevate the role of the good servile Negro. Overall, pretty bad.
He's so good, dude. Oh my God.
I will learn all that I can.
The Black Panther Party, the Breakfast for Children program, was not the centerpiece of the Black Panther Party, first of all. It was a tool.
The other important aspect that she referenced about the Black Panther Party's armed, the Black Panther Party not being like an offensive military organization, but rather took up arms as a defensive position against like the violent police brutality that the black communities were subjected to, is also incredibly important as well, especially when considering, you know, it's kind of fucking cool of the Business Insider to do such a thing. I'm actually surprised that they would do this. This is like, aren't they kind of fucking lib? Like,
can I put a painting of you up in a gallery? Hassan don't want to put it up without your permission.
Sure,
Spend
you
like
go ahead.
$20 just asking for permission, Gek.
Go ahead. This is fucking weird.
I'm sorry if you already covered this, but are you done W/GTARP?
Dude, it's been a month and there's still motherfuckers that come in here with this shit. It's crazy. It's been a month, guys. Jesus Christ.
Tool of it, the ideological underpinning was to bring people together and to recognize that they had a right to eat. You have a right to food, and we still see that today. We talked about the right to medical care. We talked the right to food, clothing, all these things that right now are still a problem. So as a black person, when you look at the situation then as now, you find that we have the highest rate of prostate and breast cancer deaths in America. And then we said, well, people are dying because they have no access to even the most minimal medical care. And so we said we have to put clinics up, but we have to show people that you have a human right to access to health care. And the reason we said free is because we wanted people to conceptualize the idea that in a humane society, we're not going to make people pay for those things that keep you alive. So I think that Fred Hampton recognized that because he was ideologically very strong, as I knew him, unlike the director of this film and his friend Ryan Coogler. I knew Fred Hampton, and I knew that he was very much ideologically aligned and understood the purpose of all of these programs. This is why the Chicago police would come in and assault our clinics, you know, there in Chicago. They took some very heavy hits on breakfast programs and so forth. because the fear of J. Edgar Hoover, which he stated openly, it wasn't that we had guns, or nobody was afraid of our guns. What did we have compared to the Chicago PD or the Illinois State Police that murdered Fred, or the United States Army, or the United States Navy, or the United States Marine Corps, or the United States Air Force, or the CIA, or the FBI, or the ATF, and all the other agencies of this government that are armed to the teeth? Now, you know the Black Panther Party did not represent a threat on the issue of guns. What was the threat that we represented? And we had an agenda to understand that the reason we remained oppressed in America was because there was this fundamental 400-year-old existing system that had oppressed us as a group in the beginning. And so therefore, the only way that we could be free was that this whole system had to be dismantled. Now, that's what we understood, and I absolutely know that Fred Hampton understood. So the limitation, the narrow, pathetic, two-dimensional characterization of Fred, well, that was nothing compared to who Fred Hampton was. To put Fred into any context with this piece of garbage.
Dude, every fucking liberal depiction of the Black Panther Party, every liberal depiction of the Black Panther Party always, like, even the most, like, I guess, close to fucking reality that doesn't, like, outwardly fucking depict the Black Panther Party or its members as, like, villains, still refuse to feature a Marxist component, any sort of, like, ideological depiction, any sort of, like, ideological, or depiction of, like, the Black Panthers is unacceptable. It has to be devoid of any sort of, like, materialist ideology. There's no goal here beyond just, like, black liberation on the purpose of, on the black liberation on the sake of, like, being black.
It's not a weird painting. I posted it on Oak Buddy a while ago. It's the stencil painting of you in the checkered shirt with donkeys next to it. Thanks for responding to the TTS.
No problem.
Also, free Palestine hassle.
Good shit.
2 months, Pog.
The new Black Panther Party is bad, though? Well, yeah, it has nothing to do with the fucking old Black Panther Party. It's just like fucking CIA ops and like actors and shit that operate expressly at the purpose of making tarnishing the legacy of the Black Panther Party.
William O'Neill, and this guy was on the screen as much as Fred Hampton. So what you've done is make him like the other side of Fred Hampton. Like there's Fred Hampton, and then there's William O'Neill. William O'Neill had no such significance in the history of either the party or black people. And this is so insulting to the history of Fred Hampton, much less the Black Panther Party, to equate these men as though they were two sides of the coin. You know, well, one turned out this way, one, no. This was a fight for black people and our liberation. If you had been respectful of that history, then you might have had shown more respect to not only Fred Hampton, but to the Black Panther Party.
We want full-fledged membership in the Black Panther Party, and none of that okay sugar, as long as you play the background, getting my beer and rubbing my feet bullshit either. You dig?
Those sisters standing there looking tough, we're gonna be at a party. Who the hell did that? It's downright silly. Nobody did that. And to make the point that women were equal, I mean, it just wasn't something that even came up. There were women in the Black Panther Party from day one. Erica Huggins was one of the first members in LA. And when I joined, she was my captain. So we had women in leadership almost from the beginning that I can recall. I don't know where that's coming from. And it's kind of insulting to both the men in the party and to the party's fundamental belief system and ideology.
Absolutely not. We get into a mess. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense calls upon the American people in general and black people in particular to take careful note of the racist California legislature now considering the mall for that.
So this is the first and only time the National Rifle Association supported a gun control bill, which is very funny. So there's some black people that started talking about carrying guns, and all this was what is now called open carry, because at that time in California, you could carry a shotgun. That was part of our organizing, to say we have the right to bear arms. You want to say white people have the right to bear arms? So as soon as we assumed that Second Amendment right, as all of these organizations like to claim, all of a sudden we had to have gun control. So it was an impressive moment, and a lot of people were shocked by it, that black people, not only that we had guns, but we were not there as thugs. We were there as with an ideological drive. As Huey Newton used to say, the gun is not necessarily revolutionary because the police have guns, so we know it's not a revolutionary act. But in this case, it's the ideology behind the gun, and that ideology is the championing of the right of self-defense under the larger agenda of seeking liberation for black people. I love Jean Seberg, and I knew her very well, very well. I saw pieces of this stupid movie, but the scenes I saw were just so inaccurate and so disrespectful of Jean and who she was. Hollywood was a big supporter of the Black Panther Party. In our chapter in Southern California, we knew every Hollywood star because at that moment we were the flavor of the year, you know. And one of our biggest supporters was a guy named Bert Schneider, who made a film called Easy Rider. And of course, Jane Fonda. So the LA chapter, we were sort of assigned to go and see her because this was money that could come into the Black Panther Party. So that's why I know so much about Jean Seberg. I remember when ultimately my baby was born, she...
Hollywood used to be better, dude. I can't imagine a level of support that you could muster up in Hollywood similar to like the actual fucking radical anti-imperialist acts that Jane Fonda personally engaged in. I mean, she's a lib now in her older years, but like, to think about like, you know, gearing up and actually donating to the Black Panther Party. Jane Fonda supported Bernie last year. Yeah, well, I mean, she's still great. She just apologized for her actions in Vietnam. I'll never forgive Jane Fonda, brother. Fuck you. Oh, God damn it. Before I fucking forget, I got to hit that fucking top of the hour. Top of the hour. Every hour is a 6-second ad break, brother. Hold on now. Here it is. Okay.
Sent me a card and some baby clothes and stuff like this. She was a really genuinely decent and good person.
If bringing them here raises their profile and it draws attention to the cause, then I've done my job.
She said she wanted to support us, but she didn't want to be open about it because she felt that if she were, that she would never get work in Hollywood and that she would not be able to support us, therefore. And so she would give donations of $10,000 to $15,000, you know, which would go to the Northern California, up to Northern California, and be spent on, you know, food, production of our newspaper, what have you.
They've tapped our phones in Los Angeles. They're listening. I can hear these little clicks on the line.
I mean, we were all aware that we assumed phones were being tapped. Nobody was unconscious, but
2 years,
I don't think we understood the magnitude of what we were up against, which was the entire United States government. And there was a paranoia that, if you want to call it that, but, you know.
And now you know why Hollywood is not as woke. Just, you know,
paranoia.
That and money, but that too.
We're afraid of imaginary things. This was nothing imaginary in it.
Didn't Ayn Rand literally personally fucking
their point was to discredit
rat
the
people
Black
out?
Panther Party. Jean was.
Didn't Ayn Rand like in the early days, like, wasn't she a part of the fucking snitches that would what was it called? What was the fucking list that they had? No, that was Reagan. No, Ayn Rand was a part of that too, right? During the Red Scare, they would out like communist sympathizers in the enemies list. Or the red list. Was it the black list? I don't know. Whatever. The fucking list.
Certainly, you know, collateral damage, a casualty. I don't think this film in any way gives credibility to Gene's commitment to the ideals that the party espoused. That's why I have problems with these films. It's because that even though they get black people to sort of take over the film, the Black Panther Party remains demonized.
Bro, she's literally mad, rightfully so, that every fucking Black Panther depiction, even if it's like supposed to be kind, still completely glances over the ideological underpinnings of the Black Panther Party. Because emotional terrorism incoming. No, stop linking me fucking emotional terrorism videos and other shit, okay? I'm still eating.